Hey guys, how's it going? Lightside Bill here. It is the week of August 27th, so let's see what's going on in the world of DSP this week. It starts on page 3446 on the Kiwi Farms. And I'm going to start with a post from Nothing I Can Do, who frequently ventures to the tumbleweed forums to find little golden nuggets like this one. A user submitted some fan art of Phil. I'd be honored if Phil could use my artwork on one of his pre-stream slides. And Caglion does not approve it. Good drawing skills, dude, but it looks like he has jaundice. Now, what I find interesting by this guy calling out how he looks like he has jaundice is what jaundice is caused by. It is a medical condition with yellowing of the skin or whites of the eyes arising from excess of the pigment bilirubin and typically caused by obstruction of the bile duct, by liver disease, or by excessive breakdown of red blood cells. Liver disease. What causes liver disease? You can see that I've already rehearsed this. Liver disease can be inherited, genetic, or caused by a variety of factors that damage the liver, such as viruses and alcohol use. Could it be that our favorite streamer, our positive streamer, who ends every night with a gin and tonic and then gets into the entire bottle of gin and posts inane rants on Twitter, could this be his downfall? Not diabetes, not the gout. Could it be liver disease? Interesting foresight. And he might have accidentally said it because it's Caglion. He's the legendary Eagle Master Supreme Commander First Class. He is probably the person who posts the most on Phil's forums. He probably gets paid to do it. No, he pays to do it. He pays for that privilege. Never mind. If you guys remember, at the end of last week, that ended on August 26th, that was the unfortunate event of the Madden shooting. And a lot of people have been, I said a lot of people, just like Phil does. But Phil's chat was asking him for his insights and how he felt about this, because it was big news, especially for gamers. We play games. A lot of us actually go to conventions and tournaments to play games. What is the problem with this, though? I woke up 2 hours ago and already sick of hearing about it, and in a stream I'd be hypothetically watching, I'd want to hear about the streamer, watch the game, and distract myself from real life events, not have people constantly rehash the same tragic subject. People are looking for a good time, not to talk about some nerd who shot up a tournament because he lost. That's 100% fair, and I agree that that is 100% fair. I know a lot of people who work shitty jobs, or have shitty things happen in their life, and streaming, video games, that sort of thing is their escape. But this is kind of a tipping point where their escape is now being invaded by real life, unfortunate, tragic events. I'm guessing that the person Phil directed his words at was cheering. The name rings a bell. The proper answer to me would be to say something like, yes, I heard about the shooting, and if you addressed it already, could add, and have talked about it already. It's tragic, and I really hate that something like that happened at an event that's supposed to be fun. I hope the stream could bring a little happiness to you today. Is it hokey? Yeah. But if he is really going to be a professional streamer, air quotes, he needs to learn some of that hokey PR shit. There is a lot of times, especially with Super Meat Boy, War Dog Leader, and now with this shooting, where Phil has chosen not to say the PR, PG stuff, and instead just go off in these completely untactful replies that actually set more people against him than on his side. Following the theme of the shooting from Batchat Ilan, he missed an opportunity there with talking about the Madden shooting. I mean, he was playing on a competitive level back then, and there have been moments where players got so salty they wanted to brawl it all out. He both threatened one tournament organizer and got almost beaten up by Jaha, so at least he understands the tension during these events that leads to violence. But no, he preferred being holier than thou again and talked down to his minions in chat. Absolutely. And I might have said this in last week's video. Phil was someone who used to go to these tournaments. He could have been more related to the shooter than the people who got shot, in that Phil did threaten violence against other tournament goers. But he still could have been someone who talked about security at the events, the tension at the events, how the events are supposed to feel. Was there anything like that back in the day? Were there any big out brawls or anything like that? I used to work in a LAN center back in the day, and we would do Call of Duty tournaments back when Call of Duty tournaments were still a thing and LAN centers were still a thing. And the high schoolers play video games, to no one's surprise, I hope. But there were two high schools that both had players that came to this LAN center, and when we were recruiting teams to play in the tournament, we had high school A versus high school B, and they were huge rivals in football and swimming and volleyball and tennis and soccer. Every goddamn sport that they had a varsity league for, they were like the head-to-head rivals, because they were basically like, they were either number one or number two, and they kind of went back and forth in the championships almost every year. And we got to Call of Duty, and one of the teams is just outright trouncing the other team, just like up and down, like have them spawn locked and everything, right? Like they're spawning in and they've already got all the spawn points already picked out, you know, like really good Call of Duty tournament level play stuff. And one of the goddamn kids, I can say they're kids now because I wasn't so far away in age then, but now this is like 10 plus years ago for me. So they were me now versus them then, kids, like threw down his controller and actually went to punch the kids on the other team because he was losing. And our staff, we had some big guys who played video games and ran these events, and he just grabs this kid by the collar and the arm and throws him out. Just says, "You're done. You don't get to compete anymore." I mean, you're already losing, so you're not going to be able to play anymore, but you don't get to come back. You don't get to, you know, threaten to fight because you lost in a video game and think you're going to get to come back in here. So there's my story on tournaments and security. And Phil could have told a similar story like that to relate to the event. But no, it had to be 100% about him playing Dark Souls 3. And you'll see that's a theme in Phil's chat. It has to be about him, but so frequently his chat goes off the rails. Following fighting at Street Fighter events, I'll say this is from Derelict Onion and Bruno Mattei, because Derelict Onion pointed out that Phil talked trash, challenged another guy to a fight, and then when the guy agreed, DSP tried to turn it into a prank. And then Bruno Mattei follows up with, the whole story's here. It's on Reddit. It's archived. Can Viscant tell us the story of DSP challenging him to a fistfight at EVO? Now, I'm already pushing my time limit on this clip on this day, so I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm going to have the link in chat for you, because this is a good read. And Viscant recanted the story 2 years ago. And then the last story for Monday. Still following the PS4 Pro and 4K TV. Niger Psycholog brings up the Dragon Killer post. First, he said the PS4 Pro and 4K TV would be a good upgrade for his viewers. Now he's saying his HDMI splitter and capture device don't support HDR or 4K. Who saw that one coming? Cries about having no money for it. More begging. So the new console and TV is worthless. If only some nigger didn't point out the obvious 6 months ago. And here's the post from 6 months ago. My question about the PS4 Pro meme is that he wants to do 4K gaming, but that means the output will only be in 4K, which he needs a 4K capture card. I assume he has a 1080p one. He also needs a PC that's capable of capturing 4K. Y'all be seriously repeating. He already knows this shit, but he's trying to act the fool as if he doesn't. DSP is a master of manipulation. He's taking y'all for a ride. No one could be that stupid, or could they? There were definitely other people on the farms. Not all Kiwis were like, oh yeah, he can totally stream in 4K. The thing is, he said that he wouldn't stream in 4K, and now he's saying he can't stream in 4K, which are two different statements. But here, I'll double click on the post and take it back. Oh, from March 11th. Yeah, he's right. About 6 months ago. So that does it for Monday, guys, and hopefully I'll be able to keep this week under an hour. Hey guys, Tuesday starts on 3,449, and we're going to open with King Tut's Curse. Now, a couple people posted these screen caps of the chat That would be Trash Humper and Haunter. And we'll just pull them up here. From Phil. So guys, FYI, all those big tips I've been getting for a few days, the idiot just attempted a PayPal reversal on PayPal. A payment reversal on PayPal. I promise I can read. Which probably means the cheers weren't legit either. So that just confirms that was King Tut. It's apparently the same guy who did the cheers. So again, it's King Tut. Come on, guys. Oh, these are horrible. Why can't I click through these? Oh, here we go. Now, to my knowledge, you can't reverse the cheers, but the PayPal, that will be up to them to determine. He just put in the claims right now as the stream ended. That's really weird, said Thanos Swaggins. An incredibly just great username. In this case, it's on PayPal to determine what happens, not on me. How much was contested, Phil? I don't even have to say anything. He put in as the authorization was illegitimate, i.e. someone else was using an account without permission. A lot. Again, obfuscating the facts by not saying true numbers ever. I should stop rubbing my face during these. Something like $300 to $400. Okay, never mind. He does say a real amount. If not more. Everything from today from that guy for sure. Absolute scumbag. And yesterday too. I believe he did like 200 yesterday and 250 today or something like that. And yeah, there's nothing I can do. It's on PayPal to determine if it's actually illegitimate or not. Yeah, I have no idea. I find it odd that he would do massive cheers that can't be reversed and then do PayPal donations and try to reverse them. I mean, PayPal can take back the money, sure, but I can't be held accountable for something I'm not involved with. The problem is, and here we go, Phil's spinning it, getting ready to turn it around. People see big tips and think, oh, Phil's doing great, I don't need to contribute right now. Like tonight, it was the 2 disputed tips that were the big contribution. Other than that, it was a handful of small cheers and 3 subs. I bet more people would have contributed if they hadn't seen the big tips. So it does fuck me over. Wah wah. I'm not getting the money. And my fans won't send me money if other fans are sending me money. And then he tweeted about it. Sadly, a troll has attempted a chargeback on over $450 in tips from the last 2 days. The tips were suspect to begin with, as they were anonymous, but it obviously stings big if PayPal finds them to be fraudulent and takes the money back. Pretty sad TBH. Amazing. And just a friendly reminder from Actually, man, fuck this guy. I'm not going to spoil the end of the month roundup too much, but even then, if he loses every cent of that $450, he's still at approximately $7,000 for the month. Even if the cheers for Tut were somehow reversed, and I don't know if that's even possible, he's still around $5,000 for the month. Kebab For You was the one who posted the tweet, and Trash Humper and Haunter were for those screen caps. I don't want to miss anyone. It's midnight here in Washington. Phil's late night gin binging definitely started to kick in from Nothing I Can Do Again. As frustrating as it is to potentially lose over $450 in tips and maybe more to a troll, I'm not going to let it hold me down. We have 4 more days in August and a great week ahead where I pledge to put out entertaining streams and enter the hardcore gaming season strong. You cannot lose what was never had, but guys, remember, some things are more important than money. Real talk. And he continues. All of the tips from anonymous sources over the last 2 days are from a stolen credit card and now refunded. Over $450 given and then taken back. But I'm going to keep being the same genuine guy who loves games and never change. I will never let this beat me. If I could have a day with just positivity, no trolling, no fake support, no insults, just us having fun. It's very draining not knowing what's real. You have all been awesome to me, but the mischief has gone too far. I want to get back to fun without pain. I hope for that. Guys, we're causing him pain with this. And, oh shit, I didn't credit that one. That's her clicks. And then, Rocky, it's okay. I know Phil makes you sick too. He posted this at 2:10 in the morning his time. Insert gin emote here. This is the same one I just read. If I could have a day with just positivity, yada yada yada, boo hoo hoo. I didn't get to keep the stolen money. This is from Worstbrat. From brand new Detractor, leave it to Phil to cry about losing stolen money and somehow acting like he's a victim of mischief. Dude, that money wasn't supposed to be yours. You should be happy for the original owner of the credit card that they didn't lose their money to a crappy streamer. Unlike Phil, they probably had to work hard for their money. It's the most sickening aspect which sucks out the rest of any sympathy I could carry. If someone is able to pull back money just because he's just trolling, yes, that's unfair. But this is literally stolen money. There's not a shred of thought about the real victim, and his followers are as blind as he is. The most basic principle not understood. Someone steals object. Someone gives stolen object to someone else. Please catch the thief. You have to give back stolen object. Dave cries because he can't keep object which wasn't his to begin with and falls into a deep gin-soaked depression. Makes himself the victim of the whole situation. Fuck you, Dave. Proved again how much he cares about anyone outside his small gaming room. Oh, I'm not logged in. I can't rate this. Did I... It's midnight here in Washington. Here's the link to the clips. Reminder with all this, he still has 7,000 this month. Just throwing that in there. I can't believe I've had to set it twice in one day. Still $7,000. And I think we'll hit the August roundup this week. So after like 10 pages of Kiwi Farms going nuts over Phil's breakdown, a very special guest just showed up in Phil's chat, as posted by Surly Muppet. Wings of Redemption, I was kinda hoping DSP would join me for Battlefield 5 beta. Phil's response, if Wings is interested, he should contact me and they can set something up. He apparently knows nothing about the Battlefield 5 beta. Someone who hounds on the hardcore gaming season and is not ready for the beta of one of the biggest gaming franchises? Okay. Can't wait to hear about how Wings never replied to Phil's email and the ball is in his court. That or we're going to get an interesting arc. Update. Tut donated again, and Phil thanked him and commented that he hoped it was legit, floating the possibility that the rescinded tips may have been from an imposter. I guess he is indeed keeping the bits then. And here's an amazing post to finish off Tuesday from Holocaust Denier. Black screen, Phil gone, and he uses one of these backrest pillows for keeping you upright in bed for when you're reclining but you want to read. Riveting content. I just love this. Is that some kind of booster seat in the middle? I've only seen babies use them. Backrest pillow. My girlfriend has one for when she sits up at night on the iPad. My grandma used one for reading in bed. Yeah, that's typically what they're for. That's got to be great on your back after a back injury. Just saying. Wednesday, August 28th starts on page 3453. Now, my first post won't be until page 3455 because there was someone who asked a couple things about Phil's health and it kind of detracted the conversation a little bit. But I wanted to get back on topic about Phil news, and that would be Surly Muppet here. He's quoting architects who said he's just not capable of sustaining the good behavior long term. I honestly think it truly pains him. The exceptionalism always makes it sway back. I had to agree with this and add that I think it pains him because of the overwhelming influence of Phil's vision of himself as a no bullshit nonconformist. I think he really believes this is what makes him special, but he can't admit that he is far too timid to be that person and that he might actually gain more traction if he wasn't that person. So instead we get the King of Hate who talks about needing his chat to be a safe place. He just can't hold the normal mode for long. The part that really irks me about professional Dave is the lack of snorting. So many of the other problems are subjective, speculative, or obscured in Phil semantics, but the change in snorting is concretely observable, and it seems like nobody has ever called him on this. I think a lot of Kiwis have called him on it. In regular streams, he claims he can't control it and nothing helps. He leans into the mic to do it, and he says to try and mute the mic would be less real. But when he is being a good boy, he completely stops snorting and almost all other nose stuff for hours on end. So that literally means he is either lying about being able to stop it and just opts not to, or he just flats out does it intentionally. Regardless, it's clearly something that he knows is completely unprofessional and unappealing, and for some reason will only subject his loyal viewers to it. People he should have some modicum of respect for. The whole thing is a summary of Phil as a person. Everything is either nonsense or lies, or the only way it makes sense is if he is just an asshole to an unnecessary, petty degree. Professional Dave just highlights this problem by providing contrast. Fucking amazing post. Just wanted to say. And it agrees with a lot of the stuff. He needs to show respect for his viewers, but he will not stop snorting. He will not stop belching into the mic to do so. This is from Dragoonism, pointing out that actually some of the people on the King of Hate forums have some fucking sense. Now, I'm not going to read this whole fucking thread, but it is kind of like, this looks like Medieval's either trolling or just really exceptional and thinking Phil should keep the stolen money. And we get Kaglion, we get Nick, we get Mirai Misaki, arguing about should Phil keep the stolen money, who's doing this and retracting it, etc., etc. No, every theft of credit cards is found out the second after the theft. No, money doesn't spawn out of thin air. No, Phil isn't allowed to keep stolen money. And no, this is not a long and carefully planned scheme by detractors. Thank God that there are people at the King of Hate forums with some intelligence, ... Because we still can't get over this. We even have to get Kat to comfort us. Thank you for Zenboat. Posts Dragon Killer's tweet. Dragon Killer just repeats what Phil says. Kat was able to comfort me yesterday after losing that money. She was a big help. She talked sense into me and told me to stay positive instead of focusing on the asshole who literally committed a felony to troll me. I'm in a much better mood today. Being told no, you can't have that money literally sends Phil into deep depression that can only be helped by Soulmate telling him he's a big boy and he can drink the big boy gin juice. Phil could wake up to Kat being dead tomorrow and he'll try to spin it so he's the bigger victim. Phil's neighbor could lose his house to a fire and he'll try to spin it so it was the detractors trying to scare me. And our last post is from Haunter. Tut tipped on the leaderboard. Trying to put my air quotes into my words there. He tipped $100. Third Eye the Third pointed out, Tut isn't even in chat, most likely a Phil donation, fake donation at Darkside Phil. Donating as Tutkamoon and then taking the money back, maybe the go-to troll for the next little while. Interesting take. Possible. Tips attributed... Oh, this is... I'll include it in this one. Tips attributed to Tut account for $500 starting on the 25th. Thing is, Phil should be able to see what email address those tips came from, right? I haven't used PayPal and Switch or through Muxy or whatever, but isn't there an associated identifier you can see? If there are, then he should be able to at least see if they're coming from the same person. By the way, last time Tut spoke in chat was 2 p.m. Pacific time on the 28th. With that said, he was in the chat today, the 29th, but he left 4 minutes later. Normally, I wouldn't include stuff that rolls over into Thursday, but again, not a whole lot happened from Tuesday to Wednesday, so that lets me hopefully keep the video a little bit more concise. Thursday, August 30th, starts on page 3455, and could you guys believe it that Phil is still upset about the money being refunded or charged back or whatever? One Day Sun said, why is he so upset about this? Is he just playing up to it? Playing it up, I think is what they meant to say. I mean, it's not like he had money and it was taken away. It's not like he lost anything from his bank account as he never actually had it. It's the equivalent of being upset if I went into his chat and said, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000, Phil. Then in my next message say, JK. I mean, yeah, it sucks and is a big letdown, but it's been days of depression and moping over non-existent money. It's just like any other week, really. Nothing changed from not having that money since he was never going to get it anyways. Unless he did something dumb, seeing as how he's a spending addict. Oh God, he probably did something dumb, didn't he? He probably took out another loan he thought he could pay off with the money, or bought some stupid expensive shit that he thought he could pay for, didn't he? Well, he might actually believe that because of the tips, nobody else tipped, so it really did cost him money. From Destro 1986. Phil's Twitter from Kebab for you. How's everyone doing tonight? Relaxing and watching some NXT and WWE Network. Looking forward to the rest of the streams this week and feeling great about the future right now. posted at 12:30 in the morning, which would mean it would still be from Wednesday's night. He hadn't gone to sleep yet, but it fits into the timeline at this point. According to Re-Entry Phantom, someone named Red Jersey Devil is trying to say that he was the one who bought the 4K TV or the PS4 Pro. But this guy says a lot of things, and he harasses a lot of other detractors, and Jack Davis is right to say he says a lot of things, pay him no mind. But I'm just throwing that in there for historical sake. Maybe Red Jersey Devil does come out in another place with some proof or some receipt, or maybe Phil doxes him or something. Thursday was also great because Phil had 2 penis pics show up on his stream today while looking for custom wrestlers on a site for Fire Pro Wrestling. Doubt anything will happen to him about it. Yes, the TOS does not apply to Phil, just so you guys know. Wings of Redemption, who is also a partner, had a dick show up on his stream and nothing happened to him. Low Tier God, who was not a partner, had a dick show up on his stream and he got permabanned. I'm just going to scroll down. Nobody really... this is the screen cap from the Phil. I'm not going to expand this because I like to have my YouTube in good standing, but you can see the penne right here in Phil's reaction to it. Speaking of pennies, there's a user named Touch My Stinky who tipped 50 bits and said, "Good day, DSP. How do you feel about the cream inside a delicious Twinkie?" And asking him this weird out of context comment got him manually banned by Dave. So that's wonderful. Thanks for the 50 cents. And later that night, Phil's sub count falls to 513. This is the second part of the subpocalypse. DSP is super salty with Street Fighter V. Guess he's mad that Tup hasn't shown up with his $50 to $100 in tips. Phil's mic just died, and he lost to someone ranked 20 or 30,000 points lower than him. He typed the following in the chat without any apparent irony. "I pressed a button. The game fucking sucks. I can't react to this nonsense," and he just mashes meaties constantly. He had to type his excuses. Like, how fucking ass-blasted you have to be to lose a game, and you can't just move on to the next game. You still got to commentate, and your microphone's dead, so you still got to get the message out there. I got to let them know that I didn't think that was a legitimate match. God damn, Phil. This isn't news, but it's creeping in on Friday anyways, but from Zenbo. If you've ever seen Phil play a game, he gets a boner every time an achievement or trophy pops up. It's fucking weird and sad. He even used to stop playing to go stare at the mid-video, mid-stream. I thought about making a video during, I must say it was his Dead Space replay, where every time he got an achievement, he just goes, "Achievement!" like a fucking potato. So, yeah, maybe that'll come down the pipeline if I get some free time or get better at making videos. Who knows? But yeah, that's great. So, let's see what Friday has in store for us, shall we? Friday, August 31st, starts on page 3458. And I think this is One Day Sun pointing out how often Phil says his bills are due. He says the week starting the 6th of August, the week starting the 20th of August, and the week starting the 27th of August. That would be this week. And what got me interested is that he said his bills are due next week. And if anyone remembers, a few days ago, he said he spent 2.5 hours paying bills in the hundreds. That was on a Sunday night. That's why he couldn't do a night stream. In fact, every time the bills are due, which is like almost every week, he's always worried and asks for hundreds. He got $450, and apparently that wasn't enough for next week. Like, what the fuck? Either he's lying, or he has a fuck ton of debt, and he lumps it in with his bills, or holy shit, his house is a ripoff. He pays bills almost into thousands on the weekly. Who pointed out... Yeah, and then Soap Queen that would be the next link. I didn't have to scroll down, but I did. Pointed out that DSP includes things in the bills euphemism that are factually not bills. DSP is attempting to lower his debt-to-income ratio and increase his credit score to qualify for a home equity loan. He wants to convert his high-interest unsecured credit card debt into low-interest secured home equity loan debt. His financial goal is reasonable and fiscally responsible. It is a financial goal, not a bill. He's dumping almost all of his income into extra payments on credit cards to lower the balances he's carrying. It's a discretionary expense, just like Jin and Rasslin are. He doesn't have to spend this money, he is choosing to. I feel as sorry for his DSP's financial situation as I would for someone in their 20s investing tons of money into a retirement fund. He doesn't need to do this right now. He can wait to do this until he has more equity in each property. He just wants to do it now because reasons. Oh, finally watching True Detective Season 1, and it's pretty damn good. Starting some TV at 11:47 p.m. his time, so guess we can't do any, what am I trying to say? Oh, and this would be from Thursday night. So yeah, we can't stream any later, guys. I gotta stay up and watch TV. Oh, and then not much later, from Surly Muppet, for two hours later, he's rewatching his own stream. This is interesting because the only other times Phil has mentioned doing this are when he felt like he was at risk of facing report issues, such as when he wanted to pimp slap that child. Maybe McDonald's turned on him for the use of Ronald's likeness. None of this is free time, by the way. Fuck you for even suggesting that. It'd be poetic if the fast food ruined his career in addition to ravaging his potato body. I also like that he goes back to watch a stream that was really just him watching the entire game when it happened live, not a stream where he was actually playing the game himself. It's like he doesn't want to watch his own shitty gameplay. This post goes on for a while, but I really like it from Shirley Muppet. And still pointing out the dick situation. Phil won't get punished for the dicks. Just to counter argument this, big streamers who make Twitch way more money than lolcow DSP does have gotten banned for this in the past. Examples are Soda Pop and clicking links that had dicks in it, and Wreckful that got banned for someone saying the N-word and clicking a link with a GIF that turned into a dick. This was before Twitch got stricter with the new terms of service. Twitch is just a cesspool of staff members that moderate people they do not like, and whoever is in charge of moderating Phil/his partner contact has to work full time. Now, I do want to point out here that, and I think someone else goes into it, I don't think Soda or Wreckful got permabans for this sort of stuff. They did get 24-hour suspensions, but we're not even seeing a 24-hour suspension hit Phil. He's allowed to show a dick on stream twice and only get nervous. Nothing else happens to it. From PJ Souls-like, so Swaggins just said that he's holding Phil's hand through this Dark Souls 3 run because he wants it to be over. Nice to know even Phil's mods are bored by his playthroughs. And fuck what the rest of his viewers want, I guess. There's Thanos Swaggins. I want this to end as fast as possible, bruh. I didn't even want to see this game again, even though I love Souls. Another great post is the Ultimate Incel. This is 60 seconds long, so I can include it.
I think that Matt does have...
Even though I fucking hate this guy.
...the child, and so Matt does not qualify as incel. He is a loser in many ways, and I've blocked him on Twitter because he made false allegations against me and my family. He's a fat loser, and he's a disgusting human being, but he's not an incel, because the bottom of the barrel, let me try to find a picture of what that looks like. I think I have one somewhere here. The bottom of the barrel is really a fat guy with acne that way. So this guy is the bottom of the barrel.
ultimateincel.jpg.
I mean, if you want to start a Magic the Gathering collection, he's your go-to guy. But
Phil doesn't play Magic the Gathering.
Will have difficulties having women. And imagine this guy with autism, or this guy with schizophrenia. This guy with schizophrenia, with autism, with no job, this guy won't get a female ever.
Which is interesting that he says he won't get a female ever, because he's gotten 2 girlfriends that he's shown off on stream. But I thought that was hilarious. I'm not a fan of JF, but that was pretty good. Oh, and after watching all that True Detective season 1 with Jin last night past midnight, see DSP somehow magically became the best detective and found out who stole his YouTube money from Nothing I Can Do yet again. A frequent a frequent visitor on my videos. Today I discovered the reason why my YouTube ad revenue is less than 50% of what it was before I started making longer videos. I will make a short video to explain this and post it up to DSP Gaming after I complete Shenmue tonight. People should be made aware. In short, pledge to my Patreon cheer. Stop talking about money. He needs it to pay his bills, yo. Yeah. I think there was another post by them, but from Actually, looks like Tut is planning on dipping out for a while. He says, at Darkside Phil, later Phil, I hope to see you in a month from now, try hard. Guess we'll see if that sticks or not. So there goes, the pay pig has come and gone. And that's Friday. The weekend, I think, gets a little bit crazier. There's a lot of money breakdown, and a lot of people, there was a little bit of a red herring where Memology was thinking that Phil got 7 to 10 CPM. And he was lying about 1 to 2 CPM, but we hashed it out. I'm not going to go into it, but that's just a teaser for the weekend is going to have a lot of math. So hope to see you guys there. We'll finish the video with Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, September the 1st on page 3461. I'm starting with Soap Queen and a couple of tweets that she saved. Didn't archive them, but that's okay. She's a supervisor. Only 1 day left to pledge to my Patreon campaign and get in on the upcoming perks, including an indie marathon. This helps me tremendously to recover from the lost YouTube ad revenue. So please pledge if you can, and thank you for the support. Pretending like this isn't about to be one of his best months ever. After hearing about your past Patreon perks, I doubt I could throw my money at you willingly. I do pity you, however, so take that for what it's worth. You mean the perks I always go above and beyond for? FYI, you probably shouldn't be listening to the dregs of the internet who make a living off of slandering me. Holy shit. I'm making a living off of slandering Phil? God damn, where's my paycheck? I've been missing out, guys. We should all get in on this. We can make money making videos about Phil, apparently, and never have to do anything else. The other thing on my list here is the August breakdown from Actually. I did his July breakdown a few videos back. I'm not going to go into any of the nitty-gritties in here, but because there's a shit ton of math. Phil only has 1 tier 3 sub. That's great. Something else to point out on the subs here, 93 of them are gifted. So July was 70-something, and we've increased that to 93 gifted. I wonder if September will break 100 gifted subs. Phil's total includes the tips he claims were taken back due to stolen credit card. This does not include the money he claims was donated to buy the PS4 Pro and 4K TV, which would be another $700. The reason why I said... I think the reason why he says he's not including these that were taken back is because they're still in dispute. We don't know if they were or were not taken back. So his Twitch total is $9,083. This is second best month he's ever had on Twitch, topped only by December 2017. There's a huge breakdown here. Then there's the YouTube breakdown. The Patreon summary is Soap Queen's next post, and he gets another $1,004. So just Twitch and Patreon is $10,000 in 1 month from him. He got the one sponsored stream, which is an extra $100 in there. I have this post linked also. Patreon is $1,004. Begathon roundup. What was this? Oh, this is that. Okay, so you know how he said he figured out why his YouTube ad revenue was down. I pointed that on Friday. It's 11 minutes. Destro had guessed it was going to be 12 minutes long. Good estimate. Here's the summary. I shit you not. From jumping around the video, which was him talking over his ad placard, Phil watched a 45-minute of his own video on his TV, presumably the one he Instagrammed. Only one ad played at the beginning of the video. He watched the same one on his desktop. 4 ads played as he placed them every 10 minutes. He is fucking mystified that YouTube isn't running multiple ads on videos watched on TVs. Seriously, that's his brilliant deduction. It can't possibly be that people don't want ads running all the time on their TVs, as YouTube tries to compete to an extent with other streaming services. No, it's because YouTube, with estimated revenues of $10 billion, has no idea what it's doing. Naturally, he spent the last few minutes talking about tipping him to make up for this. Fucking amazing that he thinks YouTube wants to let people spam videos every time. And then from Warwick89 on the King of Hate forums, the problem here isn't video length, it's engagement. If I make videos 30 minutes long instead of 10, technically they should show up on YouTube search more often, except it does not work for raw gameplay, because people frequently click around as soon as you do raw gameplay. And if you watch up to 6 minutes of a 10-minute video, then click around, that's 60% engagement. Oh, from Piece of Shets. So here's a suggestion. Why not make your videos better so people want to watch the whole video, so they're not clicking around from the boring parts? Oops, I almost said the cursed E word, which would be edit. This just goes back to show that editing his videos would be even better for him, because if you cut out all the fucking dead air, the running around, the doubling back, etc., reading guides on camera, all of that would make his videos infinitely more interesting, and people would less likely click around on them. I'm not going to go into this post. I don't think I'm going to go into this post. Oh, here's the other thing. The overlay ads, which are the most frequent ones, are desktop only. So that's why you only saw one of them on the TV app, on the streaming app, versus on the computer, because the overlay ads only show up on desktop. Thank you, Worst Brats, for bringing that to our attention. This is the video set I'm not going to get into because there's 2 smaller videos in it. But it talks about YouTube's secret codes, and it talks about YouTube's secret rating system. This is from Prince Loader. It talks about different content having special categories hidden behind the scenes and stuff. Very informative. I'm going to watch this off camera because, you know, every little bit to learn about how to get better at YouTube is important for us. So and if there's anywhere I can decipher this down into even smaller chunks, I might make videos dedicated to that. But good post to go check out. I'm going to check that out later. Zenboat pointed this out. Phil doesn't realize that raw gameplay is dead. The only time in this day and age that people want to see raw gameplay is when the player is showing off skill or showing the cutscenes. So your only choices are be funny, be good, or shut up and let people watch the game. Phil isn't funny, he needs his handheld so he's not good, and he talks during cutscenes. He isn't relevant. He's old hat. I think he's old fat. He thinks just because he was there at the start and his name is DSP, the world owes him a living. It'd be like if some old rock and roller who only plays 2 chords walked into a guitar solo contest and got angry because I'm Darkside Phil, I invented the guitar, you other guys are shills, and then started to flap his arms while arfing. This is something I think I've said before. Again, this is another long post, but Shirley Muppet, I think I've included him a lot in this week's roundup. These begging videos are getting worse and worse. No face cam. We have to watch this shitty slide. He really, really doesn't give a shit about anyone. There are lots of signs of Phil's laziness right now. The delay in DSP tries it, the slideshow for the begging videos, clocking out early several times this week. It all points to the typical trend. Piggy gets lazy when he gets fed, and he is getting fed right now. I don't remember who it was. It was probably Tevin who made the point that Phil isn't someone who goes above and beyond when he gets extra. When Phil gets extra money, he goes on staycations. He streams less. And this is going to go on even further when I make this point. It comes out in Sunday. But I think it is in Sunday. Or did I not include this clip? Jesus Christ. Anyways, long story short, this week, the week of September the 3rd, while I'm recording this, Phil fucking is taking Thursday night off to take Kat out to a birthday dinner. Well, money can't be that tight if you can afford to take her out to a birthday dinner. And then he's also not going to do a midnight stream of Spider-Man when that finally launches. So he's like really really showing, oh, I have enough money right now, I don't need to do anything extra. But he will still beg even harder. This is a post from Soap Queen. He doesn't know the difference between audience retention and engagement. Someone who watches 6 minutes of a 10-minute video represents 60% audience retention. There is no engagement percentage metric. It simply does not exist. I have this same fucking drop down. It's not anything different. What I also want to point out here too is engagement is things like likes and dislikes and comments, but he always disables comments, and he frequently disables likes and dislikes. He could fucking turn on comments and just not read them, and his engagement will go up. I know dislikes will stop your video from showing up in recommended feeds, but dislikes still count as engagement, and I think they still boost your initial search stats. So if Phil boosted his engagement stat, he would show up when you search DSP Gaming first, not everyone else who makes videos making fun of DSP Gaming. You see what I'm saying? So if he could improve how often he shows up in searches, his views will just grow organically. But he doesn't want to do that. So, fuck that. Memeology weighs in. I love Memeology. He gave me a chance to host the stream on his channel and gave me a lot of feedback. I really appreciate it. But you can't multi-edit. So you can't multi-post like this. There's 4 in a row. You really should edit them all together. And this is the memory hole, or the red herring I was kind of talking about, where it looks like he had 1 to 2 CPM, and then on one video it looked like he had close to $7 to $10 CPM. But it does go to show, I think the main one right here is on YouTube, you can control the type of ads you want to appear on screen. You don't want to annoy your fan base, you can select to play just banner ads, simple as that. More options on 10-minute plus videos. You can control how many ads appear on said video. I can attest to this because of my current channel. So Phil can still have many ads that don't fucking annoy the viewer. Oh, and there is no truth behind the shit he spits about not being able to get unskippable ads without a partnership. You can do it either way. Yeah, so we're gonna roll into Sunday real quick too. The rest of this thread is really Memeology thought that his CPM was fucking high, but it got worked out. But this went on for a while, and it kind of ties into Sunday. But the conclusion is he's still in a $1 to $2 CPM. So let's end the week with Sunday. Sunday starts on page 3,465. Not a whole lot happened on Sunday, I don't think. I mean, again, there was a lot of the CPM discussion. Phil destroys champion Gundyr, the boss that took an entire 3-hour stream the first time he fought it, while being absurdly overpowered, then claims that the playthrough is now a true redemption run. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he choose someone out for calling it a redemption run in the first stream? I don't know about that claim in the first point, but yeah, Phil did get kind of handheld through making an all-strength build. There's also some discussion about Phil should have gone back and played the Mega Man X collection. Somebody should tell him the pay rate for Team Killing Wings. I'm sure he'd be more interesting in collabing then. That'd be hilarious. Also, Phil is doing the same thing he did to LTG, pretending he didn't get an email. Wings said he sent the email. DSP claims he didn't see it, or it's in his spam folder, and Wings should contact him. Is DSP terrified of collabing? Yeah, it's well established that he's from Fresh to Death and Jotaro. Yes, it's well established that he's terrified of human interaction, even from the comfort of his own couch, unless it's with a few of his nut danglers. And when was the last time he even did one of those co-op streams? Destiny 2? Been a while since I tuned into his streams. And even those are extremely painful to watch. But that wouldn't fit the whole nobody wants to collab with me because of the Detractors Dude narrative he always pushes. With the likes of LTG and Wings, that doesn't really fly because they have their own. It was clear as soon as the possibility of him and Wings collaborating got mentioned, it was never ever going to happen. RIP. I would love for a collab between those two. Actually pointing out here again that DSP getting lazy. One day Sun pointed out how Phil gets hosted by a popular streamer, gets 1,000 extra viewers. Chat was going haywire. He was getting tons of bits. And then it just happened at the end of his streaming schedule, which he's very strict and adheres to. So He lost it. As I recall, it was on his birthday, and I'm pretty sure it's Cryotic. Yes, the guy Phil pussed out and playing Monster Hunter World with, again, avoiding a collaboration with another streamer, and a streamer who has thousands of views versus Phil's hundreds of views. Phil's viewer count was around 2,000, 2,500, and people were begging him to play literally one more match, not even asking for another hour. And he flat refused and followed up with it in famous, "Some things are more important than money" line to justify getting off then, ostensibly to spend time with Kat or whatever. Of course, now that Phil is tweeting and watching movies until gin o'clock, it's clear how well that relationship is going. Apologies for double posting, but it's a different thing, courtesy of Dragon Killer. Phil says he's broke, doesn't get a paycheck until the 25th, doesn't know if he can pay his bills, and desperately needs donations to pay them. We're going out for dinner Thursday night. This is bullshit. He'll get Patreon the first week of this month. He'll get last month's YouTube around the 15th of this month, around $800 to $1,600. He'll get his Twitch cheers and sub money from June on August 15th. Oh, he got it. Past tense, which is around $3,000, and has his July money coming on the 15th or so of November, around $5,000. He also got $3,000 in tips in August, with nearly $800 of them from Tut coming in the last few days of the month. He's not broke at all. Keep in mind that the vast majority of bills are very forgiving in terms of paying late. This fucking guy. So, yeah. Just going to show that whole narrative that once you pay me, this is the guy who you pay more and want to see his content stick around because he's going to hold his YouTube channel as hostage, disappears. He's not doing any extra streams or anything. And that's the end of Sunday, guys. So I hope after editing I kept this around less than an hour, but who knows? I didn't go on any rants, and I hope to see you guys in my next video or stream. I'm going to try to stream Dark Souls 3 Dagger only, and maybe some more Phil restreams because those have been getting a lot of positive attention. So that obviously means I need to keep doing them. So thank you guys for your continued support, and have a good rest of your day or evening.